Yo!
Here we go. Good morning,
What's up,
afternoon, and evening
everyone?
to everyone watching the live
Yeah.
stream. Welcome.
Welcome.
Simon's a bit under the weather, so I guess I'm assuming the command spot for today.
Yeah.
I am Randall Schwartz, your host. Glad you all tuned in to watch another episode of what is this? Humpday Q&A. I get so lost. It's so many live streams. Let's start by introducing people first here, and then we can get right into the show. Simon can't be with us today, a little under the weather. I am Randall. I was going, well, who's next? Oh, all right. Next person on the column there. I'm Randall Schwartz. I've been a Dart and Flutter Google developer expert for coming up next month will be 8 years. Oh my God, 8 years. So that's how long the program's been around for Flutter, actually. Danielle can't be with us today. John, introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, John Wizzy. I run and manage the Flutter Community Medium, which just had a post go out this morning. And on this, other than that, I hang out in places answering questions and work on a few apps that I have through my business, and it keeps me busy.
Oh, and Matt, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Hey, yeah, my name is Matthew Jones. I am a senior innovation engineer in the financial space. Been working with Flutter since 2018. But also, I'm a wannabe YouTuber. I have a YouTube channel that I haven't posted to in 2026 yet, but it's coming.
Still there,
I've
right?
Really cool.
It's still there.
It's still there, and it's definitely coming. I have I've got a project I've been working on since October of last year. I have made excellent progress on it. It is going to be debuting at FlutterCon USA, where I will be presenting, and I hope everyone watching this will be there too. It's going to be an awesome time. So if you want to know what Makerinator has been up to for the past 6-8 months, come to FlutterCon. It's going to be a very fortunate experience for a number of
people. Only a few weeks away.
Yeah, 9 days. Still have not written my presentation yet. I know what I'm talking about. I created a title slide last night in PowerPoint, and then I'm like, that's enough work for today. And then I closed
one of many. One of many. Yeah. You've what do they call broken the mold or whatever. So it's started the stream, whatever started the stream. And Matthew, welcome back because you've been gone for a few weeks.
Yeah, so
I'd have you back.
Yeah. I'm excited to be back. My niece and nephew were in town, and so as much as I love hanging up the Flutter community, I get to see my niece and nephew twice a year, once at summer, once at Christmas. And so that took priority. And seeing them get into all the tech stuff like 3D printing and being interested in software and just all the crazy stuff, it was really gratifying. So cool. But I'm glad to be back. It's good to be able to hang out with my peeps. So thank you.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, let's quickly cover the do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
There's a button here somewhere. There we go. All right.
Yeah. So,
jerk.
Oh, you can do it, John?
I can do it. I can do it. All right. So, yeah, just be nice, be respectful. Don't do stupid stuff, right? Don't post anything that you shouldn't be posting. If your grandma would get mad at you, don't do it. Other than that, no advertising. If you're not on the show, you can't advertise or promote anything. And if we do find anybody doing anything that we don't think is appropriate, we can reach out to other groups as well, and you'll be banned all over the place. So just don't do it. Be nice. Be nice.
Yes.
We have a good group here. I don't think we've had to do that in a long time.
Be good.
Be good. Yeah. Phone.
I do have a good time. We're having a good time sharing what we know with you and answering questions and all that sort of stuff. So, okay, so that covers that. And we also have the gist page. There we go. Boy, that worked like remote control. How did that work? I don't know how that happened. Magic behind the scenes. My hand practicing, and it still changed. If you have anything to share with us, you cannot paste URLs into the chat room. Only people with their faces on the screen can paste URLs into the chat room. So if you want to share something with us, go to gist.new. If you're not logged into GitHub, it'll automatically ask you to log in. Enter a description and a title, paste your thing in there, enter a description and a title. Make sure it has a .dart extension. If it's Dart code, that way we get good syntax highlighting. And then what you do is you take that hex part that's at the end of the gist when it gets created, and you cut and paste just the hex code, and then we will be able to see that, and we add other secret stuff in front of that so that we can show it on the screen. So that's how we do that. All right, I think we're on with the show. Let's see. There we go. Yeah.
John, my grandma hated rock and roll. Does that mean I have to stop listening to rock music, or just for the duration of the show? I don't know.
No, that's just
Yeah.
you know.
So I shouldn't tell too much about behind the scenes, but we had a special guest scheduled for today. At the last minute, they were unable to join it, so we moved them down to next week. But we have been talking about, I might as well mention it, we have been talking about Kaizel on the show 3 or 4 times already now, as being a potential replacement that is a significant replacement for GoRouter, which has a lot of legacy code. A lot of people are using it. It's still sort of the preferred go-to for routing. But Samuel has been doing some wonderful work on Kaizel, and he'll be bringing on, well, he's scheduled to do a 1.0 release sometime between this week and next week. And so we'll have him on actually to promote and talk a lot about what's going on. I even heard in discussions with him, I heard that he was watching this show and actually seeing some of Simon's complaints about Kaizel, and he's incorporated the feedback from watching this show. So thank you, Samuel, for doing that. And thank you, Simon, for suggesting things that will impact ultimately what goes into Kaizel. So other than that, he's not on this week, so we shouldn't talk about that. Let's what else is happening in the Flutter and Dart world these days? What's new recently? I pasted something in the chat. I don't know if that helps, the Slack chat.
Nothing's new. Flutter is dead. End of show, everyone. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, roll tape. We'll just show the previous week's show. I have been excited. I'm working with a new client, and they're AI friendly, which I really like. So I've been getting better and better at using anti-gravity to change Flutter code around. And I've got to say, the new models, the Gemini 3.5 Flash, has been 80 to 90% of the time spot on correct. I'm almost amazed actually that this, I know under the hood is just smart auto completion. Really auto completes really, really well now. I mean, it completes entire code for me. But I've also learned a lot of best practices. And then we'll talk more about this on the AI show as well, on the FCAIC show that we tape on Tuesdays. Same channel here, though, same back channel, right? But what I've been learning is sort of how to interact with the AI so that it's only thinking about a little chunk of the problem at a time. You know, making sure, for example, that everything I'm doing to update this client's code, I'm doing driven by issues. We're using Linear for the issue tracker, and it's working really well. And so I'll have, I've been using my favorite AI prompt of tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly about this current code base. I tell you, I stumbled on that like 2 years ago, and I have been just holding on to that dearly because it's such an amazing prompt that just immediately tells you where are we at with this code base. And
I gotta tell you, Randall, every time I do a pull request PR review at work, the first thing I do is clone down to branch and I run that prompt on it to see like, okay, is it if it finds anything under the ugly that I think is actually legitimate, and usually it does. And so like literally the quality of my PR reviews has went up because there's like the old joke of like a PR with 10 lines of code will get 100 comments, but a PR of 1,000 lines of code will just get an LGTM. And you know, it's cool because I will frequently not use that in place of a code review, but to begin my code review, to get a handle on this is what the code is doing, this is the general architecture of what it's done. And that allows me to make more informed commentary on what I think should be changed or improved, for sure.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, Randall.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, Yeah, I just wanted to ask you. You were talking about using anti-gravity, and we actually had a comment in chat of someone saying they
Mm,
were a big Fable 5 fan, which I've been an Anthropic model guy for a long time, but I am struggling because I think a lot of people discovered this. Anthropic's cost has went through the roof. Like their models are fantastic, but you're paying for that.
yeah.
And like burning through my token and usage limits. How has your experience of anti-gravity been in that regards? I know that it's based off of Google stuff and Gemini. So,
Right.
do you find that you're getting better usage out of anti-gravity than you are of like other IDEs that use different models? Or I'm considering switching over, and I want to hear your perspective since you've used it more.
Yeah. What I'm getting is productive response on 3.5 flash medium setting. And I've been watching the costs on the plan, and it looks like I'm spending about $2 an hour, pretty much, which is not bad for having a fully
No,
capable assistant working full
Yeah.
time for me. Yeah. So
you've convinced me.
I,
I'm going to
I'm
install
sure people are
anti-gravity.
spending well, or at least use the 3.5, flash in whatever mechanism you have for doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been surprised by it because, like I'll spend 5 or 6 hours, really intensely working back and forth. Only a single thread at a time, though. I'm not doing parallel tasks, so that's probably where the burn rate would go up quite
Yeah.
readily. But just by doing the very small chunks a little bit at a time, so it doesn't have to be looking at the whole code base all the time, just the part that I'm focusing on. Although the anti-gravity IDE has the sort of a background watcher that's actually keeping the entire project in context, so you have to be careful about that. I'm using the AGY CLI, so it's only looking pretty much at what I'm telling it to look at. So that's part of the cost savings. I'm not looking at the entire code base. But so the strategies I've been using are making sure that all of my development is TDD. So make a test that fails, demonstrating the thing you found in your bad or ugly prompt from before, then fix it, and then verify that the test is now clean. And that triad has worked really, really well. And so I keep it down to that. And I'm also asking for a review, pause before you actually make the commit. And then from the commit, you'll do a pull request and stuff, but that's further down the line. But pause before you do a commit. And I've injected one more prompt at that point that I think has been really useful. Again, I build these prompts organically as I'm thinking about them, and then I go, oh, that's good. I'm cutting and pasting this forever again, like the good, bad, ugly one. This one that I've discovered is, before we commit, I want you to do a critical review of your own work. Does this increase any risk? And what will the reviewers say? And
Oh, I
having
like
it
that.
think about those things, it has sometimes changed things a bit. Or what it gives me is a nice report of the answer to that, and I put that as part of the PR as my comment.
Mm.
So the bot reviewers, because we
Yeah.
have Copilot and Gemini Code Assist, both doing code review, are reading that, so they're understanding what we already know, and that helps quite a bit too. And then I have Gemini go back and look at the code reviewer bots, and I say, make an answer to them, because they'll find things, and they find different things than what we saw. So it's been really interesting so we're essentially passing everything through three LLMs. So we're looking at Gemini locally, and I'm not. So when I'm saying I'm getting by with $2 or $3 an hour, that's just me. That's not also that we're
Sure.
also using Copilot Review and Gemini Code Assist in the cloud.
That's
But
still super valuable, though.
it's
Yeah.
super cheap. Yeah, it's just it's and so by learning to gate these things this way, where double check it, come at it from a different angle, think about it differently, then we get a lot more tokens going off in a different direction, coming back, hopefully back to the same rendezvous point. It's been really, really clever. So I've been real excited.
I can practically hear, he hasn't said anything, but I can practically hear Simon in the background being like, this isn't the AI show. This is the Flutter show.
I know.
Talk about Flutter. But
I think it's still questions, people. Ask questions.
Yeah. Make sure you drop your questions in the chat with a Q colon in front of it. But it's so funny. You were talking about TDD earlier, and I was having a conversation with someone at work. I forget who it was, but it was like, we're going to deploy this and see where the dumpster fires are and then try to fix them. And I'm like, you've heard of TDD. Now we've got DFD, which is called dumpster fire development. Deploy, see where the dumpster fires are, fix them.
I like it.
To pivot slightly, though, I saw that there was some new stuff coming out regarding GenKit with Dart. I know that was... I have been out of the loop, as we talked about, for my niece and nephew being in town, so I'm not sure what is going on. Could one of you fill me in and kind of like bring me up to speed as to what's going on with that?
Could one of you? Probably looking at John and me.
Yeah.
Not many other people here, right?
Or chat. You know,
chat, maybe. What's gonna? I mean, I could start doing searches while you're talking. That's just which is channeling Simon, doing what he does.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, probably on, I don't know, a few shows ago, right? On some of the new Gen UI. I mean, back around IO, right? When they talked about GenKit being brought out to the Dart ecosystem, right? So that's out in preview, I think, right now. And then some of the other things that from the UI side, let's see, what were we talking about earlier? We were talking about some of the samples that they were talking about with Gen UI and things that they're bringing forward. I don't know if you have anything specific that we want to go into.
I don't. I do want to distinguish that Gen UI is the magical, you get widgets based on whatever the LLM wants to make, where GenKit is just the generic API that can talk to all the various agent vendors that are out there. Yeah, so more vendor general kind of stuff.
Oh, so is this just a package where, like, if I wanted to connect to Gemini, for example, or like the Anthropic models, I don't have to implement their specific API contract. I can just use this.
Right. Okay. It's like the SDK in the middle. Yeah.
That's what GenKit is. Yeah.
Yeah, GenKit. Yeah. Right. So that's pretty clever.
Gen UI is have your app build its UI on the fly using AI.
See, by now Simon would have pulled up like a page. I don't know. I don't even know what to type for searching.
All we do is prompt the AI now. The AI does all of our thinking for us. Yeah. I will say though, I didn't even realize that existed. So like I have created, I kid you not, in my own thing, like services that are just like connecting to like the Anthropic and Gemini APIs. I've probably reinvented that wheel 3 times now, and I could have just used GenKit. So that's good to know.
Oh, one of the other things I'll say, as long as we're sort of talking about workflow, is that I've by default the LLMs love Python, so they throw stuff out in Python when they need to have a little temporary script to work on something. I now have a something in my top level rules file, so it applies to everything I'm working on. If you need to write a temporary script for something, write it in Dart. And that is such an amazing, useful instruction because it will generate really clean Dart code to do this temporary widget. And we had a problem a couple days ago where I wanted to make sure that we had test coverage for everything. And it wrote this wonderful 100-line Dart app that goes through and looks at each of the subdirectories and takes the output of the coverage tool and lines it up and gives me an overall percentages for each section. I go, I could have written that by hand, but it would have taken me a long time. And then I asked Gemini, I said, is this something that could be reusable for others? Because it had put it in its own hidden directory first. When the temporary tools tend to go in their hidden directories. And I said, could this be? And it said, oh yeah. And so it puts it into the master .scripts directory, and it adds instructions to the developers about how to run this, and it adds it to the make file that we have. I mean, it was like, yeah. So, think about infrastructure and think about keeping it all in Dart and Flutter, rather than having these random Python scripts that get run and generated. And so that's a very powerful instruction to put in your baseline rules. So just one more cool thing from having actually gotten. It's nice having billable work right now. It's very nice getting paid to be fun. Let's see what else have I been doing with Dart and Flutter?
I actually have been playing around with GenUI a little bit, because I created that sample app and I created a couple other things to mess around with, and I think it is a really cool idea. I haven't found a problem yet where I was like, I would like to solve this with GenUI. That's like the challenge. Like I can think of yes, I would like to use AI to generate code that does the specific thing. And maybe that's like a lack of imagination on my part, but in every instance and even if I'm like feeding back to the AI for like a response, I look at it, I'm like, I don't necessarily need GenUI to present its response. Like I can take that and I can put it into another widget. So like I've not found a use for it yet. And I'm not saying that there isn't one. I'm saying I haven't found one. It feels a little bit like a solution looking for a problem, and which is frustrating because it's so freaking cool. Like,
it is.
Like, this is so freaking cool. I have no idea what to do with it, but it's freaking
cool to see the demos. Yeah, it's cool to see the demos, but I'm in the same place. It's like when I start thinking about like my apps and some of the apps that I either haven't even built, and start thinking like, how would I use it? Right? It just doesn't seem to fit.
I think my frustration is what widgets do you need to think about to be in your catalog?
Yeah,
because that's a meta problem. It's a problem of problems, and I'm not used to thinking that way. Like what for any question coming in, what is the assortment of things that it should be able to draw upon to draw on my screen?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not used to thinking that meta. I don't know if you guys are, but that's a lot of cognitive load at this point to try to figure out what it needs. I actually had an idea the other day, and I told somebody on the AI team, some AI team anyway, I forget who I was talking to, that it would be interesting to put a layer in there such that the LLM, if it needed to, and it was trying to build the right widget for you, and it couldn't find anything that exactly fit, could log a message to say, I was looking for something that had a stack of 3 boxes and you don't have a way of doing this. So I had to make it up with 3 separate boxes.
Yeah.
And then you could read those, having some sort of feedback mechanism from the field that could get that back to you and build it in your next release. So you'd have the stack of 3 boxes that it needed frequently. And I was thinking, boy, I bet there's enough calculation ability in there that it could do that. But I'm just thinking way ahead, I guess, trying to figure out how to solve this problem because I don't want to have to keep coming up with widgets. I'm lazy now. I am really lazy. Let's see. The other thing I've been I've been advocating Kaizel for a little while. I'm also being a big advocate for Signals. And Signals, if you don't know, Rody had a pretty big release after the no activity on it for a year, the big V7 release. And it's really perfect for the cases that I was trying to figure out. It's getting a lot better. Congratulations to Rody and his work on that. But I mean, we could do a whole show just on Signals again. It's kind of crazy that way. I am disinterested in doing live coding because I type really bad. Although, what would I be doing live coding? I'd just be doing prompts, so I can type prompts.
Yeah, you just prompt it. Yeah, let it code.
I'm
Yeah,
always amazed when I watch. Go ahead.
no, I've thought about like creating the Challengeinator, which is like
Mm.
it would like come up with like a challenge, and then we in the audience could like all build something, and then at the end we would like show off what we built or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's I haven't gotten around to telling Cursor to build that for me yet. So because I'm super lazy. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting. So and again, while we're waiting for questions to come in, if you got a question that you don't want to ask an LLM, just drop it in the chat with Q in front of it. But I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with a YouTuber named Hank Green. But he did
Sounds vaguely familiar.
interesting video recently. Let me look up the name of it. But it was about this guy who predicted that England was going to run out of coal. This is connected to code, I promise you. I promise you, we're going to get from coal to code. I promise you.
Start with the same letter. It's cool.
Yeah.
Same two letters. Same two letters at the beginning. So it's one of those word puzzles.
I remember
where you
everything.
Each time.
I remember everything in the video title. It ended with paradox. I think it was like Jensen paradox. Jevons paradox. There we go. The Jevons
if
paradox.
You want to share
so
it,
Jevons paradox.
You want to share it?
Yeah. Let me get a.
I can push the buttons for that. I know where those are.
Yeah.
I know where those buttons are.
All right, so let me hit the share button. Share
Let's just see if I know how to do it correctly. Is the question.
Window. All right, here we are. Okay, so this is the Wikipedia article. I just shared it here. And it's called the Jevons paradox. So it comes from an article that was written a long time ago. And this guy basically said, because there's so much demand for coal, he was concerned that England was going to run out of coal. And the counter argument to that he had was essentially that because engines were getting more and more and more efficient, that we were not going to see a decreased amount of use of coal. We were going to see an increased amount of it. And everyone else said, no, that's not accurate. You're going to see, like, engines are going to get more efficient. We're going to need less coal. And instead of consumption going down, consumption went up. And so the Jevons paradox is that as we get more efficient at using something, the demand for it spikes and we use it. So examples of this include things like hot water, right? People used to use hot water to cook with and maybe take a bath if you were lucky. And now we have hot water heaters, but eventually we satiated that demand. And if you look at different things in society, every technological thing, as it gets more efficient, we see like a mass increase in it. And some things are like almost exponential, like exponential demand as it gets cheaper. So like electricity keeps going up in demand. But other things, they kind of get to that point where they're satiated. Like we've hit a number of things that hot water is good for, and so we don't continue to see demand rise for hot water. So his point is code just got really cheap because of AI. It is very efficient to write code now. I wouldn't say very efficient, but like it is much more efficient than it was 5 years ago to write code. And it is significantly cheaper now. So because of that, are we going to see a reduction in the amount of demand for code because we can produce it more efficiently? Or is this about to go exponential? And I look at that and I'm like, you know, it used to be that the types of problems that we solved with code, the problems would be very expensive to solve because we, you know, you had to hire people like us to go in and deal with it. And now people like us, each one of us can probably produce 10, 20 times more than what we did 5 years ago. I know I sure can. Yeah. And so because of that, it is, even if our salaries remain the same, our output increases, which means the amount of cost per line of code dramatically decreases.
Drops, yeah.
And so is what's going to happen with that demand? Have we kind of solved all the problems that we can with code, or is this thing about to go astronomical? And are we going to see a massive amount of demand like we've never seen before as a result? And I think that is something that I haven't been able to stop thinking, you know what, let me just come over and I will load up the YouTube video. We don't have to play it, but I just want to, or I can drop a link. There we go. I can drop a link. Don't stop watching right now, but I'll put it in the private chat because
Stay
I don't
here.
have the ability to do that.
Stay here.
Yeah, right. Stay here. But it was,
it's interesting.
I haven't been able to stop thinking about that video because I think, like, we try not to talk about AI on the show because we have an AI show, but at the same time, it has caused such a huge disruption and change in our industry and the way that we do things that it's hard to avoid the topic even when we want to. It's just changed so much of everything that we do. And I look at that and I'm like, people say things like, will software engineering even exist in 10 years? And I look at it and I'm like, not only do I think it's going to exist, I think that it's going to be bigger than ever. You know, and so that's, but I think that the people that are going to be relevant to what that job market looks like in 10 years are making choices today that are going to make them relevant.
And I think what's happening is that, you know, we have people that still in the industry are writing, you know, C compilers and assemblers and stuff. I haven't done that because I've always had the C compiler available to me. But we're still going to need people at every layer of this stuff. It's just going to shift numbers for people. Like the number of people that you need to have hired to build your website is going to go way down because people are going to be building their own websites. The number of people you need to hire to do just general, you know, boring accounting apps and stuff is going to go way down. Because again, you know, it's sort of like we're sort of like the revolution that happened with Excel to eliminate a lot of the needs for COBOL programmers. I think that's what Excel basically replaced, COBOL, and you know that they're all, you know, now we're up at a different layer again. I mean, and there's also, and Matthew, maybe you're trying to get at this, but I now have Stonehenge.com is Dart and Jasper. I didn't write a single CSS or line of HTML or single Dart code component. It wrote everything, but it wrote it in a way that I was able to program because of my programming skills. I was able to describe precisely what I wanted it to do. And I think, so there's still a difference between what somebody like I can do using AI to augment me and produce results and what a layperson who doesn't understand really what the web is all about, their websites are all going to look pretty much exactly the same. You're going to see the same general style over and over again from people that, you know, watch some show on some YouTube video on SEO and how quick it is to just type a prompt to get a website and how to do searches for that. I'm seeing dozens of those online now.
SEO is dead, guys. I'm sorry to say it is. I'm serious. Okay. Unless you specifically turn off the AI in your Google search results by typing -no AI, when was the last time that you Googled something and like scrolled past the AI response? Like maybe like I just did because I was specifically looking for a Wikipedia article and like a YouTube video, but like searching for general information, even when I Google something, generally the response I get from the AI is good enough, and I only go deeper if it's something that I'm like, I probably should fact check this, right? So if you are building your business on top of SEO, like how do you expect people to find you? How? Like no one's looking, you're optimizing for something that no one looks at anymore. Slash rant.
Well, I think what you're hoping is that the SEO is being used by the engines that are then being used by AI to generate those responses, right? So that if you're looking for something specific, it finds those sites that you would hope that it would have found because of SEO, and then uses those as references in the AI response. So there's still, I think, some need for it, but yeah, I mean, what you're saying is true too. It doesn't necessarily help you by being at the top if nobody's scrolling down past the AI response to see what the top hits are.
But what we're saying is that the regular internet is now a data repository for AI agents.
Right. It's a rendezvous place for agents now.
Yeah.
It's where agents meet up with other agents. Yes.
That entire Google cache is just a data cache for the agent.
Yep. My face is
true.
Pausing. I don't know. Is my upstream laggy?
I've seen you guys have paused on me a few times, but it usually comes right back in a second. So.
I blame the fact that we're talking about AI and it's probably intercepting everything.
Yeah, it doesn't like that on the show. But no,
on SEO, I just wanted to follow up on that because this is also clever too. So my LinkedIn profile is fairly highly searched apparently, because I get SEO requests like every other day. Hey, I could do something to improve your website. So somebody suggested that, and I said, well, I'm the guy that's creating my website, so you're talking to the first person here, and he said, so he runs his tool, whatever his tool is, and it comes up with these 4 things. And I just walked over to my repo where I have the website stored that has the Dart and the Jasper and all the tools and stuff like that. And I told Gemini, an SEO just told me all these things. Is that true? And can we fix them? And the Gemini just came up with the 4 things that needed to be fixed and how they need to be fixed, and said, yes, this definitely you don't have your sitemap XML, which is important, and all this stuff, right? And then so I said, okay, so I just said, turn those into GitHub issues. I'll get back to you later on those. And then I took the output from Gemini and I pasted it into the SEO's channel. And I said, oh, thank you for pointing those 4 things out. It was supposed to be like a lead in, right, to getting his work, his business. Yeah. But I said, oh, and I've made these issues in my GitHub repo. Thank you for showing those off. So, nice. And he says, well, let me know if I can do anything more for you.
Do you have any suggestions?
That's all I need. Yeah. Have anything else I could tell Gemini?
Right.
Would you like to burn some more tokens investigating my repo? I'm not going to pay you, but if you want to do some token burn for me, go for it, man.
And give me the response. Sure, I'll implement. Yeah.
Well, and what's interesting is I'm seeing also a shift. It has to be a shift because the traditional things that the snake oil SEO, I've always called it snake oil, but because whatever they do to make it higher optimized, Google's going to be undoing in the next release of this crawler, so it doesn't really matter ever. But there are some plain things you can do, like some of my titles were too short, which means there's not enough content really pointing at that page. Some of my pages were too short because they were stubs. And so Gemini suggested, well, we can just remove the stubs. That's fine. I go, yeah. so that's part of the ticket to happen on that. But I'll do it on my own time when I want to process some issues. I've gotten pretty good at everything that I kind of need changed in my life ends up as a GitHub issue now. So it's a good way to track making
everything.
Well,
is there like a lose 20 pounds GitHub issue?
You haven't seen my repos, have you? No.
I've got a lot of private FlutterCon issue.
Yeah. What kind of date? You mean like a calendar date?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what you meant. That's what you meant, right?
100%.
Yes.
100%.
Absolutely.
I'm so disappointed you guys aren't going to be at FlutterCon.
It was a cash flow problem for me. So yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Wait, where's my?
And I'm in a different location.
Yeah.
What's
so we got
I've never heard of this.
That's Jules. Wait, you don't know Jules? Oh my goodness. So Jules was released about a year ago. It's jules.google if you want to go look it up. And what it is, it's a bot that glues into your GitHub repo that based on schedules and based on specific tasks that you give it, it will do autonomously and create pull requests for you. So you don't even have to be around for that.
What? Hold on. I just
Wait,
looked it up. I'm going to share
this?
my screen here.
Yeah, share your screen. Yes. I'm surprised you hadn't heard about this. Of course, see, I stay on top of everything that comes out. I see everything that comes out of Google Labs because I'm on their RSS feeds and stuff. So, yeah, remember RSS? I still have.
Oh, RSS. Whoa.
Yeah, I know. Hey, old man.
You know what? Hold on. Google should make an RSS reader that goes too soon. That goes through. That would be like
I was
really. Yeah, they should make an RSS reader that it would be amazing. That would import RSS feeds so I could read my subscriptions and stuff from around the web. It would be, and then it would sync to my Android device. It would sync in my browser. It would be everywhere that I need it to be.
Wouldn't that be
they could call it
in your mail program?
Reader.
Reader, because you're reading all these things, right?
Google Reader. It would be great.
Yes.
I transferred to Feedly primarily for that because it would read my Google Reader status stuff and figure out how to transfer that precisely. So my Feedly login, of course, is my Gmail address because that's where my Google Reader was. So yeah, one of the earliest OAuth, I think, for my Gmail was my Feedly account. So yeah, so I still pay them like $10 a month or something. Their service. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, I have some free RSS reader that I got off of Google.
Oh, do you want to share this?
It's terrible. Yeah, I'm already sharing my screen. Yeah. Jules, an autonomous coding agent. Jules does coding tasks that you don't want to do. So we've got a file here, and then
all of them.
Octopus is Jules. All of them. Bug fixing, version bump, test, fixing Jed's code. Poor Jed. Jed's trying. More time for what you want to write and everything else. Imports
make it a little bigger.
Changes and helps you create a PR. Say what?
You can make it a little bigger.
Enlarge.
Oh,
there you go. Yeah.
Enhance sectors 14 through 17.
Clones your code in a cloud VM and verifies the changes work. Will run existing tests or create new ones. Use Jules from the CLI or build your own workflows using the API.
Yeah, it's actually pretty clever. Jules.google, if people are wondering what URL to go to.
Yeah, Jules.google.
And it depends on your Google AI plan. It uses, it has its own.
Yeah, I want to see what pricing is. Our plans.
Pricing, yeah.
So
you basically
we've got Jules. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I see what you're saying. I was like, "Where's the pricing?" You're right. It's because it's part of the Google AI plan. So, in the basic, you get 15 tasks per day, 3 concurrent tasks powered by Gemini Pro. If you've got a Google AI Pro plan, which I don't, but I should. If I go to anti-gravity, I will. For devs who ship daily and want to stay in the flow, 100 tasks per day, enough to run Jules throughout your entire coding day. 15 concurrent tasks so you can run multiple threads in parallel, higher access to the latest models, including Gemini 3 Pro. And then if you've got Google AI Ultra, for builders who run agents at scale, 300 tasks per day to handle the most demanding development cycle, 60 concurrent tasks built for massively parallel workflows, priority access to the latest models, starting with Gemini 3 Pro. Dope.
Yeah, this is fun. I'm not doing anything significant with it. I've got it attached to a couple of my repos, and occasionally I trigger something in it. But yeah, it's very clever, and it's reading Agents MD directly from your repo, so you can have specific Jules instructions in there, from what I understand.
Very cool.
So yeah, stuff.
Huh.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks, Manish. That was nice. See, we're still talking about AI. This is not the AI show. Sorry. Let's talk about cascades for a second.
Yes.
Does everybody know what cascades are? You know what cascades are?
It's some waterfalls in the Northwest someplace, I think, right? Cascades.
Right. Yeah, you're right. That's the name of the actual waterfalls.
Is
right?
it a laundry detergent, Cascade?
Oh, that might be too. Yeah. Yeah.
It's true too. Let's see what else. We could probably Google for all the things. Oh, I was just going to talk about the Google versus AI, and then I'll talk about Cascades again. The Google versus AI choices is that. Oh, it's also mountains. Thank you, Kali.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Cascade Mountains, the Cascade Mountain Range, right? Exactly. So I have a shortcut for that's just G followed by something, and that does a Google, but it attaches the dash AI to the end of the string, so it's literally Google. I also have a shortcut that's AI, which really just passes it directly to Google now because of that swapped around a while back. And I think I use AI about 5 times as often as I use G. So just in terms of my personal searches. I use G when I want to think about it in terms of keywords, because I'm really good at searching for things in Google. I'm really good at figuring out, okay, the thing I'm looking for has to have these 7 keywords.
Yeah. Yep.
And not this one. So sometimes a negative query for those. And I'm really good at that. And but I've completely lazily just gotten rid of most of those now, and I just hit type AI and a full question, and I go, okay, and what is the type of thing that's in this thing, right? AI, how many different dialects of British English are there, that kind of thing. I wouldn't Google that. I would AI
where's
that.
Simon when we need him?
I know.
How many dialects of British English are there?
There are something like 14 at least. I've seen videos on those.
I know where
And
we can
which
find
one
out.
does Simon speak? That's my question.
Yeah, it would be a good question. But there are videos. I remember there was one video, and I want to go find it again and watch it again, because I was thinking about we're going to get off topic, but we're already off topic because we're talking about AI. I was thinking about the fact that I try to do a kind of a half-tailed impression of British singing when I sing "Comfortably Numb" or any other song from there.
Yeah.
And I noticed recently when I sang it that I'm really doing about 2 or 3 or 4 different dialects. And not deliberately, but it's like that's the way I knew it. 30 to 50 according to Gemini.
That's what Gemini says, and then they say if you get into like the highly localized sub varieties, then you can get over 100. Yeah.
Well, now,
why can't they just speak normal English like Americans?
Yeah. I know. Come on. Wait.
Well,
it's like Southern and.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I identify most closely with in terms of the British accent is the RP, because that's the BBC. The voice of the BBC is always RP, received pronunciation, the Queen's English. And that's kind of what I'm aiming for as I'm singing, to try to get the right vowel sounds and the right timing for the words for that. But I seem to be sliding back and forth a bit. And but we could ask the same question about the US. How many pronunciations are there for the US? And specifically, how many of those are flattening out because of social media? Because we had a big wave of flattening in the different dialects 30 or 40 years ago when we started having national TV news. Because people would hear the newscasters. The newscasters all spoke that sort of neutral Midwestern accent to kind of be the most applicable. Oh, yeah?
I know how to get the show back on top. I know how to get the show back on track, guys.
Let's do it.
Imagine if there were dialects of programming languages the way that there are of spoken languages. So
there are.
Yeah, I only code in Southern Dart. This is a variable, y'all. I code in New England Dart. My code is very rude. Just like, but anyway, so what's up with the Cascades, Randall? What did you want to talk about there?
So the other day, I fixed a bug in the client's code. I can only say the client because I'm not allowed to talk about that sort of stuff.
Sure.
Where the cascade had been incorrectly. No, this was a Stack Overflow question. Somebody was asking, why does this have a different type than I expect? And it's because they had used ... for one entry and then ... for the next entry, but that last one needed to be a single dot. And the difference is, and here's the way to think of it. ... a cascade call, is intended as a side effect on its target. In other words, you're not taking the output of that method call. You're using the fact that the method has been called to mutate the target. Whereas a single dot might have mutation side effects, but typically doesn't. But you're mostly interested in what's coming out of it.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's important to keep in mind when you're looking at cascades. And so what's interesting is Puff had also, I forget his full name, but he's Firebase. Yeah, Puff. I think he's even been on this show. He commented, he said, I would never have caught that. I didn't tell him that I had AI to help. Stack Overflow AI, no. But I use the sidebar Gemini in Chrome now a lot. I'll pop it open and say, what's the answer to the Stack Overflow question, right? And then I'll look at it and go, nah, it's not worth pasting, or I'll take it and replace, in simple words after I first vet it. It's a technically accurate answer. But yeah, the fact that it found that this last thing, and what it was something about a database object, and you need to do some drift. It was drift, where you have to create the drift search object, and then you have to tell it what the query is, and then you have to say run the query. Well, the run the query command is what you want the output of, and so that's a single dot. But the other one of what set the query is 2 dots. And you just have to get used to that pattern of using that. And I reminisced there in the comment that at least Cascades, which I believe, what's his name? I'm going to blank on it now. The creator of Strong Talk, and he was on the Gilad Bracha. Gilad Bracha was big in the small talk community for a long time. In fact, he probably still is active there. But he was also one of the early Dart team people. And he's the one that introduced the cascades that were originally in Smalltalk into Dart. Smalltalk got it backwards. And I'm so happy that Dart finally fixed it. So what happens in Smalltalk is that these cascade sends are all, interacting with the thing on the left. But when you take that whole expression and assign it somewhere, it's the result of the last calculation automatically, as if that was a single dot instead of a double dot. Okay, to speak it in Dart terms, actually it's semicolons versus, that kind of thing. Anyway, and the problem with that is that more than half of the time, you would want the output of the original object on that left-hand side, just like you can get with cascades, ... so that you get the original object, not any of the results of any of the messages being sent for side effects. And so in Dart, it works like you kind of want it to. You want, if you want the actual right-hand result, you'd say dot. And if you don't want it, you'll say dot. In Smalltalk, the very last message send, whatever it was the thing that was the overall value. So if you wanted to get that original object back as mutated, you ended up having to save it into a separate object, do all the method calls on it with cascades, and now your object is mutated and you can return it. But the way around that in Smalltalk is really clever. They have a method in object, the top level class, called yourself. Now, in small talk, self is the notion that we now call this everywhere. So self. So what your self does is it simply returns self. Now you would think that's a really boring call. No, but what if you put yourself at the end of a chain? It's going to return the mutated object. But that meant that 3/4 of the use of cascades in small talk were all yourself. And I'm glad Dart fixed that. I'm glad Dart did it right. There we go. There's my old geezer thing for the day. How did small talk do it? How did Dart do it? Yeah.
We should rename this show "Old Geezers Complaining."
And when I was riding my tricycle,
back in my day, you turned it on and you got a basic prompt, and you had to write whatever program you wanted to run before it actually would work.
In my day, we used line numbers and we loved them.
We used
back
cards.
In my day,
with
there was
holes.
Back in my day, we just used go-to statements, and they were fantastic.
Yes.
Oh yeah, all over.
Yeah,
everywhere. Straight spaghetti code. Go to here. Go to here. Go to here. Yep. Yep.
Oh yeah.
And then what was that language that had come from? That was pretty amazing. I can't remember the name of that one was. It was a parody language, of course, but
Yeah.
So anyway, so we did have actual Dart content here because I talked about cascades, so that's
Yeah.
good. This isn't just all AI. Yeah.
So actually, one thing I was noticing, and like this is, I promise this connects back to Dart and Flutter.
Sure.
But did you see the guy that got Half-Life 2 running in a web browser with surprisingly good performance because he used Wasm?
Nice.
And yeah, like I was looking at this and it was like, it's Half-Life 2 and it's just running in a web browser and it doesn't even look like it's breaking a sweat. Like I'm sure that there was a lot of optimization happening in the background to make it look, but it doesn't chug. It runs really, really well. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, I think, I don't know if it's happened yet, but isn't the Dart and Flutter team going to make Wasm the default for Flutter Web in the near future?
I believe it's soon if it hasn't happened already in one of the early releases. I know they've been releasing a lot of new darts over the last few months. So
it's like, I look at that and I'm like, okay, what opportunities does that open up? Like if you can get Half-Life 2 running in a web browser, you can do pretty much anything at that point. And so I'm looking at that and I'm like, okay, because the thing is that we've come from kind of an era where everything had to become an app, and it didn't have to be an app for a long time. Like Apple and Google make a lot of money from things being apps, but truly, like we're at a point now where you could easily get app-like performance out of any web browser, right? And I'm looking at that, I'm like, that is yet another place though where Flutter kind of shines, because if you need to target the web and get like an app-like performance, that would be like a huge benefit. So like I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, I struggled with Wasm when I was doing like my Flame game during the Flame Game Jam, but now I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know, okay, if they feel strong enough about it now that they're making it the default, which is good because I had to do a whole bunch of stuff to make it work when I was in the Flame Game Jam. That's huge, right? Because that's like such a huge performance boost, and it really kind of blows the door open of like what we can do to create fresh new things. We have a question, guys.
What?
Oh my
Really?
gosh.
Sorry, I was looking at a different screen while I was
No.
doing that. What question?
We
Yes,
have a
yes.
question.
You're up now. Here we go. Victor says, beyond multi-platform, hot reload, impeller, and Wasm, what do you think will be Flutter's next killer feature?
Oh, and we have somebody that's popping in to answer it.
Who snuck in here?
We got a
Who snuck
question.
in here?
That was, we summoned Simon by asking a question.
Oh, there we go.
That's all
He
it
was
took.
just
We should have told them, ask a question to summon Simon. If you, the first person to ask
Is this the first actual question?
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
is the first
is.
actual question.
I've got a sore throat, so I don't think I'll be talking for much. But we'll
No
try and
singing. No singing either. No
see how
singing.
far we can get through this. I'll try and.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead. It's your show. Let's go.
What's the next
what was
killer
the question?
feature?
Oh, right here. Beyond multi-platform.
multi-platform, hot load, reload, impeller, and Wasm. What do you think Flutter's next killer feature or selling point will be? I have an answer to this question.
we already know
No
this.
one else
Don't we? we already know what the
Yeah,
next
none of us
killer
work for
feature is.
Google.
Yeah.
None of us
No,
work
no.
for Google.
But we none of us work for Google, but we do know what the next killer feature is.
It's the one they're
It's in their
focused on.
roadmap.
Yeah, it's the Gen UI stuff. Is that what you're talking?
No.
Oh,
Well, that's already there. I mean, like
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
over there updates.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
oh, they're
With the-
gonna
with
That
kill
would
bike
be a
the-
killer feature.
The bytecode download. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, does it?
So we
doesn't
already
that,
know
like-
it works really well with Shorebird, right? Like,
I was gonna
that's
say,
already-
doesn't that kill Shorebird? As a
Well,
business
here's
model?
the thing: as I don't know how this is working, but obviously, Shorebird's owner being
Yeah,
the one of the founders. Obviously, I'm assuming they're talking very in high detail about this
Yeah.
because he's wanted to have this, and this is kind of like the idea
Yeah.
is to marry it in there. I think it's probably more about this where I tell you, if I was them, if I was like part of this Flutter Shorebird thing, what I would be working on is giving Flutter the fundamental construction bits to make that work, but you still need someone to distribute the updates, and that's a service
Yeah.
provider.
Yeah.
So Shorebird becomes a service provider, not the maintainer of the actual functionality.
sure. Yeah,
So Flutter takes over the functionality, they embed that in there, Shorebird becomes a maintainer. But then now Shorebird can have competition if they wanted other people to do it, or
yeah.
the app
Yeah.
stores want to do it, or whatever. Who knows, right? Because now it's the split of service provider and it's like supplier and wholesaler, right?
Yep.
That is very similar to what I was going to say. It's like there's a difference between something being technically supported and the infrastructure to use it effectively. I think over-the-air updates being technically supported in Flutter is a good thing, but I think what Shorebird offers is the infrastructure to use it effectively.
You need to be able to monitor it. You need to be able to understand like how many people have got your updates, what is your happy you use. There's so much more than just making their updates work, right?
Yeah.
No, not at the moment. Now,
No.
the reason why there is managed is because Shorebird, have had to make modifications to the actual Flutter engine. So when you compile your app, you have to compile with Shorebird's version of the engine to make it work. So this is what I'm saying. What they think they're going to be doing is saying, okay, that engine modification and the underlying bit, that's now owned by Flutter.
Yep.
It's my guess. I don't know. None of us work for Google. None of us work for Shorebird. So. But if it was me, that's what I would be doing.
I think another thing that's going to be moving around a lot to answer the original question with Flutter is that I'm seeing some motivations to make the Flutter SDK smaller and move more of the core into Dart, so that Dart only apps can have access to things like listenable and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting because I know like every change management package that wants to run in Dart only worlds has to reinvent listenable, which is really sad because it's a fundamental sort of structure. I know Signal had to come up with their own and a bunch of other stuff. Riverpod essentially but sidestep listenable for Dart only apps. So things like that. But there's and I know Simon has been speaking about this occasionally in past shows about how much of the drawing stuff would be nice to be moved into Dart so we could draw images in memory, even if we don't have a UI to display them on. Yeah, that would be pretty handy.
So there's also there's like 3 different coordinate libraries,
Right.
to have a rectangle here, a rectangle there. Like you have rectangle, you have rect, you have and you have to convert between that. Like
an
vector
image
vector
can mean
3.
different things depending on where you are.
Yeah.
UI.image is different from the other image. It was really crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So we hope that'll sort. Yes.
In my opinion, and this is something that I was personally looking at maybe tackling a year ago, and I haven't gotten to it because I've been too busy working on a fish. If we could get RISC-V support for Flutter, it would be killer for the embedded community. Absolutely killer. It would be massive.
Do you know what's really funny about this? Do you know what's really funny about
Simon
this?
probably already wrote that. He's probably
Doesn't Canonical have a PR out for this?
I don't know about that, but what I do know is Dart already supports the CPU. It's Flutter itself, but the engine hasn't been built with that version of Dart, that hardware support. However,
so
I was going to say,
parts. So like FlutterPy will support RISC-V. That support is already there. Like if you go through their pull request history, the support is sitting there for RISC-V for FlutterPy. Dart supports RISC-V. It's like that final chunk of Flutter itself that we freaking need. And like Raspberry Pis are so expensive and they're not necessarily used in industrial applications all that much. But if we could get proper RISC-V support for Flutter, it would be embedded as such a space that it could fill.
So what's really interesting about this is that Flutter and Dart started as Dartium, and Dartium was for the embedded platform only.
Yes,
I believe it.
So you can still go find it. It's an archived repo. You go look. We can go look at it, like their board support and how they're doing it. But when you look at MicroPython and the use that has for like this nice like dynamic language that you can just run up and run these things, it makes so much sense to have like Dart running on embedded. It really does. But there's a different. It is, and I cannot say this enough. Like Dart does not have a massive memory footprint compared to lots of modern stuff, right? Like it's really like, but it's still nowhere near running like native code. You cannot run Dart on like at 64 kilobytes RAM. That's not going to happen, right? Like. So when you're talking about embedded systems, we're talking about the mid tier, right? You're not talking about the microcontrollers, but you're also not talking about like full-blown CPUs. You're talking about this middle tier. And that's where ARM, RISC-V come in, and those ones. So you've got the cheap like M4s and M0 ARMs, stuff like that, where you've got enough processing power to do these things, to have like embedded platforms. But and you've seen this before, we've seen this with Impeller, and that is to have support for all the Android ARM-based GPUs, right? Mali and all the rest of it, from all the different system-on-chip manufacturers and kind of getting that working. It's really surprising to say that like Impeller works so well as it does across all of those. That is that hardware abstraction layer is the difficult bit. It's super difficult. Like I'll give you an example. Insurance companies. You might go to one of these websites that does comparisons of insurance people. Now that like we have one in the UK called Go Compare. I don't know how global that is, but anyway. But the point here is like they've got to work with all of these vendors. Now, if that vendor, that insurance company, doesn't want to work with them, I mean, they've got to figure out a way to use their website, or call their APIs or whatever it is, to get the information to compare. Really, I mean, and this is kind of like now they have to maintain a specific bit of code just for that one part. Now you've got hundreds of these different suppliers, each with their own little bit of specific coders. Don't want to touch that with a barge pole, right? So it's that kind of aspect of that where Impeller is doing like the best it can to support these wide variety of things. Now you take it to embedded, kind of bring this back, you take it to embedded. How do you support all of that? And how do you make Flutter and the engine modular enough so that you can just effectively support lots of different embedded graphics potentials? It's not as simple as all that, but software rendering would be at least a step forward.
So two things. First of all, I think you were not on the show when I brought this up, but the .NET team is looking at using Impeller for a rendering program. That's like a big thing. I'll look up that in a second here. But I did bring up an article. This is what I was thinking of. I'm sharing my screen right now. Titled Canonical Gets Flutter Up and Running on RISC-V.
I can bring it up on stream, but you need to make it bigger. You didn't make it bigger before. Zoom.
Okay. Bigger.
And zoom. There you go. Perfect.
There you go. Yep.
There we go. Canonical gets Flutter up and running on RISC-V for Ubuntu. Canonical has been bullish on RISC-V, with Ubuntu being one of the most common Linux distributions endorsed by RISC-V board vendors. Canonical has also been bullish on the Flutter toolkit for crafting their desktop installer UI and other modern UI app interfaces, but these two together haven't panned out, with Flutter not currently supporting RISC-V. And this was in November of last year. Canonical has submitted pull requests now for enabling RISC-V support with Flutter. The lack of RISC-V support by Flutter has been a known issue to Ubuntu engineers for a while now. Canonical engineer Valentin, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, I'm sorry, has been working on getting Flutter on RISC-V. A Flutter pull request this week seeks to upstream support for the Flutter tool on RISC-V. Another patch adds the RISC-V 64-bit desktop Linux engine support so that you can cross-compile. A Flutter engine for RISC-V Linux from x64 Linux host. Valentin noticed that they may need to carry their patches on their own depending upon the outcome of getting that RISC-V support upstreamed. So it looks to me...
Hang on. This is before it was Christmas where they did the merge of engine and main Flutter repos. All these PRs were put on hold from Canonical until that was done, and they were resubmitting them. So go to that PR. Does it still exist as a PR on that link?
Flutter pull request, yes. Let's see what the status is.
Merged.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Your dreams have been answered.
Yes,
What?
in advance.
Yeah.
And then, hang on, scroll up. There's export Flutter storage. Scroll down. Hang on. What's the commands here?
Hold on, let me...
Biggin.
Right. Yeah. So the Flutter storage
Export
base URL is
Flutter.
basically where that's where your engine builds are stored, and then the Flutter command will then run that and use that. So when you do the example and build it, it'll build with the RISC-V. But you need to go build the engine for RISC-V.
Sure. You have to do that with... I already had to do that for another project I was working on anyway. New managed servers could host RISC-V Flutter engines.
We know what Matt's doing for the rest of the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was planning on using my FlutterCon speech to beg someone to add RISC-V support to Flutter, and now I feel
Now
like
he's got
I
to
have
find
to,
10 minutes of filler because he doesn't have
Right.
to talk for 10 minutes about this.
Scroll to the
Well,
bottom.
you could start playing with it, and then you can talk about how well it works.
Yeah.
Scroll to the very bottom of the whole chain. See where it landed.
It was only 4 days
To Rust
ago.
Desk. Yeah, that's to scroll up a bit. That's to another app.
pull request. Oh, you want to see where it was merged?
No, just like
January
curious that
10th.
yeah. So that was probably scroll up a bit. No, that's the engine auto rocky.
January 10.
Yeah. So
Should be in
closed
stable,
and then marked
yeah.
as rolled. So this is the same. This was saying. So this is when in December they merged the two things together, and then engine and that, and then these all came in after that. There's a bunch of canonical changes they had to do for multi-desktop that were put on hold because of the engine combination, engine merge. Anyway,
Okay, well, I don't know if
Put-
I will
put-
have this
put
ready
link-
to talk about for FlutterCon this year.
put link in
but-
the put link to the PR in the chat for everyone.
Yeah. I don't have the ability to do it for the public chat, but I can definitely do it for in private.
I
You
did.
guys
I
can do
copied
it.
something over just now.
That was the
What
one.
it?
That was the one on .NET and
okay.
Impeller that I found.
Oh yeah. All
Yeah,
right,
the Apollonia.
let me copy this link and then I will bring that up as well.
The Apollonia UI article about Apollonia working with Google's Impeller team.
Okay, you got to it. You got to it before I did. All right.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, that's that one. Yeah.
Apollonia partnering with Google Flutter team to bring Impeller rendering to .NET. Yep.
Nice.
Cool.
So yeah, that is the other thing is like
So
go ahead, Simon.
those that don't sorry. Something else to add that I can chat about, if you like. What's his name? Brandon DeRossier, one of the guys from the Flutter team, who's working with Shorebird now, is still working on the Flutter GPU stuff as open source. And that's been landing some updates recently as well. So you're talking about WASM. He's got that working in the browser. So Flutter GPU in the browser with WASM.
Wow.
Nice.
So you talked about where you could go with Half-Life 2. Well, yeah, you can now write games, three-dimensional games, in your browser using Dart and Flutter.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. There is something else that came over. So there's actually a couple of talks in the community about text rendering. Have you guys actually know how text rendering works or how complicated it actually is?
It's
very
complicated. I know that.
complicated. It is
It's different.
Just
dumbly complicated.
turning is already throwing that a lot of it off.
Yeah.
Yes.
So so there's actually it's on my screen.
I've got some Risk 5 boards somewhere. I need to dig them out and see if I can get that. Yeah.
I have a whole butt ton of them, and if I can get them, I tell you what we could do, we can read. Actually, Matt, this is publicly on live on air.
Yes.
We can bring back the FlutterCon badge idea for Europe.
Yeah,
We should have enough time to pull that together. So there might be an idea there if we can get Risk running on those. Because the reason was it was just too expensive with the other course. So if we get running on Risk, then yes, we could do that. So
all right.
Just
I
saying.
will play around and see. The Raspberry Pi is just stupidly expensive. As much as I love the Raspberry Pi platform,
I love the way you say stupid expensive. It's super cheap for what it is. It really is.
It is super cheap for what it is, but also the board in my current project costs $300 now. Now, granted, I bought a way bigger board than what I needed because I thought I was running a local AI model on it.
There's a difference there. Also, there's differences in terms of memory production, silicon stuff that's going on at the moment, right? That's all over the shop. But equally, also, what Raspberry Pi suffered is from its own success. It was so cheap, everyone bought it, which meant there was no stocks, which drove the prices up. Right? So you kind of get that kind of thing going on.
Yep.
So there's two algorithms I want to mention, and I want to know if any of you guys have heard of. Let me share my screen.
I have like 10 more minutes, guys. I have to leave half an hour earlier than usual.
Sure.
I've got a work meeting I have to jump to, but
have you guys heard of Windfoil?
Windfoil? No.
So as far as I understand it, this is a new algorithm that has been worked on with AI for rendering text, and it is super like crazy good, basically. And it also uses, the algorithm is designed to improve upon the public slug algorithm for certain use cases. So Windfoil slug, I guess, would be the proper name for this. And this is rendered. This is like rendered in the browser, this text. Like this is like live. I'm just zooming in and out, like every spline is being calculated and rendered.
Wow.
At 120 FPS. Like there's no lag. Right.
So to say, it looks really smooth. Yeah.
It may not come across on this in the screen share, but it is super clean, super smooth. One of the things you get when you zoom into documents, like say Adobe documents, is that they're tile rendered because when you zoom in, you need something on the screen whilst it recalculates. Like it's super complicated to lay out text, calculate it, and like render it. I know because I wrote one of these in Dart and Flutter to render PDFs. And it was super hard for us to get the text measurements and to get the rendering done. Anyway, so this algorithm here came around, and then there's this guy Zenbu, I think that's how you pronounce the name. But he's been working on a Flutter GPU port of this for rich text in Flutter. This is brilliant.
Wow!
Right. And you can see it's experimenting with the Windfoil algorithm to serve as a backend for rich text widgets, much more sharper and refined than the default rich text. And like, here's I guess we can do that. Here's a side by side. So there's it. The idea is what you want is effectively as close as like. Hang on. When it comes to laying out text, you want it to act the same as what you would expect, right?
Yeah.
Which is complicated enough. But then to also actually have like good support for rich text, like embedded like fonts and widgets and all of that, that is like next level. That's exactly what we need. So yeah, and this is this is that same algorithm. But anyway, I just wanted to post it out there because it is actually, yeah, it's one of these. I can't
So
wait
it's just
to
yeah, so it's implemented as a new widget, right? And you're just using that widget
Yeah.
instead of rich text. Yeah, nice.
And yeah, and basically you can just do all your text as these things. But so the underlying algorithm is WinFoil, and obviously it's a re-implementation because this is JavaScript. But yeah, it does all the calculation, and it takes full advantage of GPU and everything else. So I'm kind of interested. I haven't really done much research on it, but it's definitely on my top of my list.
Very cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
There's some great talks. If you go search for like text rendering, Dart and Flutter, there's some great talks out there on how Dart and Flutter do this, and it's not simple. Well worth a read.
Cool. Well, I think I'm going to use this as my off ramp. I've got a meeting at 1:30 sharp at work that I got to do. So Simon, I hope you get feeling better soon. I'm sorry that your voice is a little bit on the scratchy side. And yeah, I should be back on stream pretty regularly now that my niece and nephew are safely back at their homes. And I'm not having to be Uncle Makerinator entertaining them. So I will continue to be around, but I'm going to hop off, guys. I'll talk to you later.
See you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Well, he needs one of us to pull him off. There, now he's gone.
Yeah.
He can exit on his own. Well, he could actually quit.
Well, he could just hit leave. Yeah, but yeah.
So we don't have any more questions yet. I do have one thing I could talk about, which I haven't talked about before. I've written exactly one thing for the pub so far in my 8 years of being a GDE, and that's my fixed global script. And I announced a couple of weeks ago again, but I just want to show you an example of running it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share a terminal window. Do you know how to do that? Let's see here. This, share screen. But it'll be window, right? That, I think that does it. Does that pop up here? Wait, how do I add that? There we go. All right, so let's make sure the text is big enough so you can read it. Yep, okay, good. Here's the problem. So I have, I've installed a bunch of stuff with Global Pub, Dart Pub Global Activate. That's now been replaced by Dart install. So I have a bunch of stuff that's installed like that, right? Okay. And these things update every day, typically. One of those is probably updated, well, maybe not daily, maybe at least a few times a week. And they contain the binary that's bound to a particular Dart and Flutter release. So they're designed in such a way that if the Dart gets updated and it's no longer the one that they were built with, it will literally run a Dart run command internally to rebuild it, but that means it's rebuilding it every time you run it. And so I wrote a shell script that would actually just basically tear everything down to a list like this was, Dart installed. It would tear everything down and then rebuild them all. And it was expensive because it was also rebuilding ones that didn't need to be rebuilt, like on a nightly basis, which is the best part of this flag here. But what I do is Fix Globals was originally a script. I turned it into a Dart app and it's in the pub. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say -u. And what that means is I know the base version of Dart hasn't changed recently. I only want to update it if the individual packages have changed. And it actually does that by going out and using the pub interface to figure out what the version numbers are of the current version of each of these. So we're running this in real time here. Well, sure, yeah. Fix my typo first. But what it's doing, how quickly it's running through. But notice it got down to Dart Doc, and it said, "Oh, Dart Doc actually needs to be updated." It knew the other ones didn't need to be updated because it went out and asked Pub, "What's the latest of each of these?" So it's actually now building a new Dart Doc because Dart Doc got updated apparently in the last 2 days. Watch this pop up. Sorry, what?
Oh, these are your publicly activated commands. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Right. And so notice here's the overall thing. It says a bunch of them are up to date, but notice this one apparently updated in the last couple of days, and so did Milos. So I can run this in a cron job and make sure that every morning I come in and all these are the latest releases for everything. Now, when the version of Dart actually changes, you'll see this is going to take longer, and hopefully I don't break anything. I just don't put any switches there. How about I fix my typo again? I should say always. Now what it's doing is it doesn't know whether it really needed rebuilding. So it's basically rebuilding every single one of them. And this is going to take a little while. But anyway, so you can install this actually with Dart install fix globals with an underscore. And in fact, it's actually rebuilding itself. I hope that doesn't break anything. Oh, it seems to have worked. Okay. But it's actually rebuilding the binary. So it's grabbing the sources, making sure all the dependencies are downloaded and all that stuff. And I don't have to do any of this thinking about this. I don't have to manually update all those. So just a little tool. Originally a fragile shell script. The shell script would occasionally go crazy. This also works because Dart install and what was formerly Dart pub global activate stuff could also use something directly from Git, or it could use something directly from your file system. And this tool is smart enough to be able to rebuild it from whatever built it in the first place. So it's good for anything. And I'm thinking this is going to be sort of my replacement for DCLI, which has its own weirdnesses. So when I'm writing Dart tools to use for myself, I will install it with Dart install local files, and this will be able to keep it up to date. So pretty cool stuff. It's my contribution for the show today. And it'll take a little while to do that, but anyway. It'll probably say it recompiled everything, right? So yeah. But this was all vibe coded. I didn't write the code. I just pointed it at my shell script and said, what would this look like in Dart? And it did it. And it all has wonderful tests. I mean, it runs tests against itself whenever it's so there. So I've recompiled everything that is global from the pub. Pretty cool, huh? Oh, you can't see that anyway. So it's successful for everything. Yeah. There. See, success. All done. So that amount of time was a lot simpler than manually going through and installing each one. So it's all kind of nice that way. All right. Here's my contribution. Do we have any other questions yet? Or we kind of done. Oh, nope. Simon, what would you call your accent?
English.
Do you have a name for your dialect?
We were chatting about how many different British dialects there are. Yeah.
Right.
And so, Gemini says 30 to 50.
Sounds about right. So my dialect is I think it's got received pronunciation. It's like the official standard one, basically.
Yep.
RP.
Then we got into like what would
it's
be
the
like
typical English one, right? So you might have North Yorkshire because I'm in London. It's like it's not Cockney. Cockney is a particular. So,
Then we were kind of chatting about would it be fun if we coded in different dialects if you had like Southern Americans, Dart versus British Dart versus.
I was going to talk to. Go ahead.
To say one of the things you can actually do, I remember doing this in C back in the day because of its preprocessor. You could make macros for like anything. So you could actually build your code in like Southern dialect, and it would replace like whatever you put in with what's the underlying C code.
Yep.
So you could make some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
The Bourne shell was written using a bunch of macros to make it look a lot like some other language, as I recall. And so it was something C. Something they gave it a specific name, but it was a whole big if-def stuff, define stuff. Yes, right. But I wanted to address that just a second ago, or from it's coding into dialect. When I wrote my Schwartzian transform, which I did not name after me, I am not the guy that gave it the names. Vain, come on, guys. But the Schwartzian transform classic structure, basically, it's map sort map. So you take all the things you want to sort, you map it into an intermediate form, you sort those, and then you distill it back to the original thing, and that's what the Schwartzian transform is. But I sort of labeled it as speaking Perl with a Lisp accent, with a Lisp dialect, because it's sort of a Lispy thing to do, where you take lists and turn them inside out and stuff. So we used to say that when we could detect people in Perl that were coding using their old strategies, because Perl was so broadly flexible that you could kind of implement stuff in whatever style you wanted and it still worked. That's both a blessing and a curse for Perl programmers. So that was pretty cool. Yes. Don't see any other questions coming in. Did we miss anything on the Simon that we should have been covering?
I didn't see anything. The only thing is Kaylee suggested we could talk about the update, the 3.4.4.5 update. But
what happened?
They fixed some little minor bugs.
Yeah.
It wasn't big. Until it gets to .47, I don't care.
There's a funny one in there though.
Was there?
Did you guys see that?
What?
Did you guys see one?
No.
Flutter change like where is it?
A funny one.
It just made me laugh. Flutter change log. Thank you very much. Not that website. Change log. It's trying to autocomplete to like Flutter for something. Share. Yeah. Let's see if it brings up.
Yay. Change log.
Blurring text with shadows. Oh, yeah, that would be a problem.
That's not useful. Me.
That would be a problem.
No.
Yeah. I just imagine like some of them. Why the hell is my shadow all the way over there?
Yeah, way over there.
The shadow knows.
Man, yeah, that's definitely not good.
Glad that got fixed. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Okay, that wasn't 4.4. It was a 4.5.
This is
4.5.
This is probably the other big one. Yes. So have a proper crash during rotation over the devices when using.
Yep.
HCPP. I have no idea what HCPP is. Should we?
It's something to do with Vulkan.
HCPP.
HCPP, yes. The HyperCard preprocessor. We're going all the way back to the old Macs.
Way back.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Well, in absence of questions, go ahead.
Well, I was thinking we could see if we can get Flutter GPU working.
Cool. I think so.
Let's see if this works. If my IDE wants to behave.
I need to brighten
I don't
up
think
my
there's
background. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I don't think there's much in the way of instructions at the moment in how you do all this stuff. So I'm just going to wing it. That's the way it goes.
Ooh.
Going out on a limb. Hybrid composition plus plus.
Plus.
Some graphics C standard thing that's new.
Yes, according to Gemini.
Oh wait, no, I know what this is. Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
It's no, hybrid composition was the one that replaced the surface views texture views or whatever it was for Android. They added another mechanism on top of that that's more high performing, which is where the plus comes from.
The HCPP delegates a native view embedding like maps or web view straight to the Android OS via Vulkan. An impeller using Vulkan as its primary driver, pre-compile shaders offline completely. Yeah, so it doesn't really give a whole lot about it. But
well, okay, how can I explain this? What is this? So I'm
here's the Gemini. Oops, gotta do it the right way though.
So,
ending trade-offs.
what were we talking about?
Oh, I posted in the HCPP from Gemini.
All right. Should we see if we can get this running?
Sure.
Right. So I've created a new test project. Right off the bat, I've got some documentation. We're going to see what happens.
Cool.
Think. So, yeah, I've done some Googling.
Those instructions in Medium.
Really wish that.
Something you approved.
I don't know what that is. That.
No, that's on the Flutter blog itself.
Oh, Flutter blog, not you, not us, not the community.
Didn't get posted in the community. No.
What are you talking about?
The Medium article you got there came off of the Flutter blog.
Oh yeah. I'll post it in the chat. Yeah. I don't know. So I don't think this has been updated for a while. This is 2024. So pinch of salt is all I'm going to say. It was already like really low level and like probably not going to work. There is again. This was the official document at the time. This has been archived now. Hang on. That's interesting. So this is the archive version. I wonder if there's well, we can look at the source code. Yeah, all right. And then here's the actual library. I'll pop it in the chat. So basically, from what I'm seeing here at the moment, to access Flutter GPU, you need to add Flutter GPU as dependency using the SDK as the source. And that's what he explains in his article here. So you create your project, you make sure you use the most recent version of Flutter, obviously to get the most recent stuff. Probably stable is fine because it's in there now. So create your project and then add Flutter GPU with the SDK of Flutter attached to it, which will essentially give you this in your dependencies, which we should see in here actually. Let's have a look. Down here somewhere. Yeah, it was there. Let's get rid of all this. The question now is, okay. So pubget works, so that's good. How does one use it? Flutter GPU documentation is a lie. It takes me. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so there's an archive one, and there's one in main. Okay, well, we won't bother with the archive at the moment. Yeah, depending on both. Yeah, it basically just directs you to that article. All right. There is some examples. It's Brandon, isn't it? Brandon. Yeah, Brandon did some examples. So we'll just see if we can take maybe a little. Let's just get a triangle on the screen, shall we? Right, what's this? Main Flutter app. Okay, it's got each different page. So this is going to be your start page. Okay, so there we go, triangle. So triangle is basically the most fundamental graphic tool that you can build. So we want to use this as our first trial, our first way of doing this, and we'll see what happens. So there's a lot of low-level code here, but I think we'll be okay. So I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to get rid of all of this. Delete. I'll just triangle page. Yeah, and then paste it down here. Go up. Okay, so there's the shaders that we need. Let's go grab that. So I know shaders are done differently now. They are compiled in using the asset. The asset builds, whatever they're called. So we'll figure that one out as we go as well. So I'm assuming book build. That's the bit we're missing. So we use the new book directory. Make a build.dart, stick this in it, and that's going to tell it to compile the shader as part of the build process. And it also monitors the file if it went rightly. And then if the file changes, it will rebuild it. Native assets still on. So do we need any dependencies? So look. Native assets CLI. Okay, let's add those. Let's add those dependencies. Pub ads, vector math, and methods. All right. And Flutter GPU shaders. So that's like a helper library. We go pub. Build tools for GPU shaders and bundles. This is one of our Brandon's packages. So yeah, it's just a carbon copy of what we're just doing. And then we need to put the shader in. Step by step, it takes you through it. We're going to copy straight off the example so we can get working as quickly as possible. Okay, so we need to put the asset in there now. Let's do that. Okay, and then we're going to need to know where the source for that shader is. Shaders. Here it is. So make a new directory. Shaders. Now, it was building test library shader bundle JSON. All right, so I'm kind of curious about which one of these we're actually using, but we'll grab We'll grab that as an entry point. So, I mean, I could have just like checked out the repo, the examples repo, try to run it. What I'm trying to do here is just go through, understand how it's working. So by copying, basically kind of going through and learning as we go. So fastest has not always been best, right? Test. Brain. Shader. Bundle.json. Bundle. Okay, so the question is, which of these shaders are we actually using? Because I don't have to go copy them all. So this looks like it might have changed. So let's go actually take a look at that. 25 days ago. So we're using the latest one. So in the example, input, output, manifest file. Okay. Input, output is not the same. So that's what the problem is. So we have build input, build output. So build input is what? I don't know. What does this show? Config. Okay, let's copy this. Copy it here. Okay. Interesting. It is the same. It just doesn't like. Yeah. I mean, you know, we could I? Let's just see if we're using Flutter shaders for GPU. Maybe this is also built for a version that's newer than the one I'm supporting right now, so we might have to back it off some. I'll look at that in a minute. Input. Interesting. Native asset CLI and hooks. So Flutter GPU shaders use the hooks package. And the old code was using native shaders. So this depends on hooks. There we go. Okay, so let's go add hooks then, I guess.
Is that Flutter hooks from Remy?
No. This is something. This is about build hooks. Okay. Right. So, what was I?
Oh, this is the builder
build.
hooks.
That's fine. Build's working fine. I'm going to remove native assets CLI so we're not doing that directly, and we'll see what happens. All right. So now we've got a hook for the build set up to build the shader bundle, and let's go out these. Here's our main source code, and we need to go see what shaders this is accessing. So down here somewhere we should see unlit vertex and unlit fragment. These are the two shaders. The vertex or fragment shader that it's actually trying to use for its drawing a triangle. So they're the two that we actually need. So we'll go back to our example. I'll post this example as link in the chat, by the way, if you want to have a look. Look at it. It's obviously not up to date. It's 2 years old, right? But as you can see, it's easy to bring it up to date. I'll post this. I can push this GPU test on my GitHub after this. Okay, so we're going to need these two. And we'll need these files. So we need a vertex shader file. Keep doing Dart for some reason. Have it. And a fragment shader. Are there any questions, by the way, about what we're doing?
Nothing yet.
No. Nobody's asking questions yet.
That's right.
A quiet
Feel free
audience.
to ask.
Yes.
Right, here's our fragment shader.
I need to learn shaders. That should be fun.
There we go. They're not too difficult at all, to be honest. Vertex shader. All right. So what we've got here, we've got a uniform that's like some data coming in. So called type frame info. It's got a matrix for MVP, a matrix for MVP. That's model view projection, a vector 4 of color in this variable frame info. And then we also have a vector 2 coming in position. This is coming into the inputs each time the fragment is run. This one is like global. And then we've got the vector 4 output going out, which is the color of that pixel once it renders it. This code is essentially running each one of the cores of your GPU to render each of the pixels for a bit of graphics. And in this case, it grabs the color from input, grabs the model view projection, multiplies that with the position, and then outputs the GL position and the GL color. So, that's quite straightforward. And then our fragment is pushing over. This is the I got mixed up there. This is the vertex shader. This is run for each of the vertices of the triangles that you're trying to draw, and giving it the position of that triangle and then the color. The position of that vertex, the color of that vertex at that point, and then this, which is the fragment shader, is run per pixel. In this case, it's just going input to output, right? So it's basically doing nothing. So in this case, it's going to give us a gradient of between all the colors of the 3 vertices, because that's how this is radiating between. That's what the simply how it works. Let's see now. All right, so code wise, I may see some non-nullable, right? Like that can't be null anymore. So there's like little tweaks you can do now, where I'm guessing this would error and return null previously, but now it just throws. So that sounds normal. Why do that? This format gonna do this again to me. Format. See, why did you do that? I swear there's a thing to stop that from happening. Oh, it is. No, it is there.
It's the pub spec thing, right? Where you get to say
the analysis. Yeah.
Oh, the analysis file, right? Where you change that. Formatter.
Preserve.
Analyze has been a dumping ground for all the miscellaneous things now.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is where it should be. It's definitely where it should be.
Oh, okay.
Now, you'll do what you're told and not do it anyway.
Fighting the formatter.
Well, look, we're going to leave it like that for now.
Well, yeah, that's weird. Yeah, because like in the comment, it's showing it like at the end. So if you scroll up,
hang on. So we're saying, yeah, that's
right
what
there.
it should be like.
Yeah, right. But if you put it in that way, it's not preserving it.
No.
Well, that's the point. Like it should be. Let's see.
Fight the tool.
it should be preserving the comments and the line breaks. And I've done it before, you know. I swear it's just like this. I can't think of another way I've done it, but who knows, right? Oh,
You need to restart the analyzer. Maybe it's still using the old.
yeah, but the format should use the targeted one.
Mm-hmm.
It's still the analyzer doing that, though, right?
Do you know what? I don't care. It's fine for now. Go back to that. So, cool. So we haven't run it yet. Let's run it. See what happens. It's going to be so amazing, everyone. You won't believe what we're going to see.
See if it gives us shade.
Sarcasm.
We need shade.
We can pause on
We need
Windows.
shadows. Shadows in the right place.
I think a texture-based one we could try. And we could go all the way and see if we can do a go grab a actually that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Oh, geez. Red screen.
No, it's fine. It's because I didn't prompt. Fine. Let's just wrap this.
The material widget found. No material widget found.
Yeah, standard. Right, let's assume in the page it's sitting up. Save. Okay.
No material widget found.
Oh, there we go.
Oh. Yay! A slider.
And I see nothing. It's so amazing.
Sliders. Yeah.
It works.
Sliders.
Ship
work.
it. Oh,
Sliders
wait.
work. Yes.
Which is really interesting because I'm also not seeing any errors or anything. I don't know if it's got Windows support yet. It probably doesn't. So let's try Chrome web browser, shall we?
I wonder if they'd let that in the store. Just a thing with two sliders. The slider app. Play with it all day. Slide back and forth. Fidget slider.
All right, let's try the breakout. Let's try it out.
We're at the top of the hour. Not that it matters much ever. Got to get those YouTube views up, you know. Got to be longer content.
So you can see here the shaded bundle that's made. It's all compiled. Let's get the source. All the other bits in there to transpose everything. So it's building it. Sorry. I'm getting a white screen. But it's really interesting. I'm not seeing any errors either. I was expecting this to I mean, again, example could be, really, really bad. So let's have a look through, see if we can figure out what's going wrong. So, new renderable texture. So render texture upload from post. Okay. So render texture depth texture. Okay, 300 pixels. So this 300 by 300. Yeah. Enable render type usage. Read. Right. Okay. Go to performance. So how do you forget that? Okay. IGBA, A. Unify normals. Okay, so we create command buffer. Okay, so this is creating a render target based on our rendered texture we want to render to color attachment. Okay, it says joining the depth buffer together and the normal buffer together into render target. Then we put a render pass from our command buffer onto that. We get our two textures, two shaders from the library. Create a render pipeline based on those two. Standard. Bind that pipeline to our pass. So any of the work that we now do on this pass is going to go through that pipeline of vertex of fragment shader. Okay. Blend. That's interesting. Maybe that makes a difference. We could be seeing it's white background, so I'm wondering if we're seeing a wrong type of blend here, affecting the colors. Let's see what we get out of this. Nope. Blackness. Oh, yeah, I should bring up prescription.
Oh, there's a getting started with the Flutter GPU guide on the official Flutter documentation site.
Where? Okay.
That's what Gemini's telling me. Yeah. Perf impeller Flutter GPU. I think.
Semi-link. I don't think there is.
I'm looking. Where's that there?
Right, where was that? Yeah.
Oh, no, 404. Oh, Jeff and I hallucinated about a page that should have been there.
Page that used to
It really-
exist and no longer does.
It really wanted to have a page in there. Are you sure about those URLs?
Are you sure about that?
I don't think so.
Not me being careless with those URLs. I genericize the pathing from memory instead of verifying the exact structure. They're not correct. The official examples for Flutter GPU are not stored in a subdirectory of Flutter samples. Instead, they're in the Flutter packages monorepo. Packages Flutter GPU example. The official documentation is docs Flutter dev perf GPU. I can give you that URL if you want. That may not even be.
Might be excellent.
Oh my goodness! It hallucinated about a hallucination. Hold on.
Yep,
404. You idiot. Gemini, I don't trust anything you're saying now. I think even those URLs are broken.
I think you know absolutely nothing.
Somewhere in Utah, a sip of water is dripping into this drain. You're completely right, and I apologize. I missed the mark entirely again. There are no Flutter GPU examples in Flutter packages repo, and that's a 404. Let's get this out. The real SDK packages. Oh, I got to see if this is right. Hold on.
Sure it is. Yep, it's another 404.
Flutter GPU is distributed as part of the Flutter SDK. In your PubSpec YAML, you could just simply say Flutter GPU.
There's no like proper stuff. Like it's all way too early for that.
Oh, and it's pointing to the same Medium article from 2024 that you're looking at?
It's the only one out there.
I give up.
Oh, I see a bug.
Davey, I give up. You have to have been an American from 30 years ago to recognize that voice. Hey, Davey. The voice of the not animatronic, but puppet dog from The Boy and His Dog or whatever it was. What do they call
Let's
that?
do this. Let's canvas. Go. Correct. Make sure we're okay.
Oh, that's
we have a
working.
red rectangle. That's good. So let's get rid of that. So we know that the red rectangle is filling the screen. This is where we're expected to see our output.
Mm-hmm. But we're getting nothing.
Oh, David and Goliath. That was the name of the show. And Dave was the name of the kid, and Goliath was the name of the dog. Hey, Davey.
Okay.
So it's
No problem with that. Green Vulcans. Yes, let's start. We fill out our matrix on RGB. Put the information slot. For the parts. Results. Let's select the buffer. Oh, it's a prompt. Okay. This is interesting. Oh, I guess everyone's bored. What's death? We'll see if we get something else out of this before we call it a day, and then it's the stream's going over time. Well, that's interesting.
it's not getting any output.
Is the graphics balanced? Yeah, I expect that. Okay, so we're not.
Is it airing out? Is there a
I suspect if it throws, we should be getting.
yeah, it should be getting
Let's go back and
unless it's being handled. Can you set it to break on all errors?
well, what I'll do is I'll do a try catch.
Sure. Yeah.
And we'll just do print whatever happens.
Richard wants to know what's going on. We're just experimenting. We're playing with GPU with the graphics.
Flutter GPU.
Flutter GPU, yeah.
Right. Oh,
GPU must be enabled via the Flutter GPU manifest setting.
The manifest. It's your manifest destiny.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I'm your density. I mean,
Yes, I am your destiny. Oh, that was great.
So what do we do? Flutter run with that? What?
Back to the Flutter.
Yeah, probably.
Back to the Flutter part 2.
No, isn't that like a global?
Kind of skipped
like
ahead.
you turn it on.
We didn't even read the article, so let's just skip forward.
Why would you want to read the article?
Flutter config.
Have AI read the article for you. Have the AI summarize it.
Now it'll
really
work.
like when
okay, we're done.
I use AI to turn 5 words into 100, then you use AI to turn those 100 words back into 5. It works.
Mm-hmm.
We're just killing water and electricity and taking up more bandwidth. What the hell?
Well, now that you enabled it, does it work?
So it's part of it. Let's see if it's part of the right thing.
Run, Luke, run. Those were quitting move lines.
These are not the GPUs you're looking for. Hey, no. Doesn't like it.
Can you speak Bachi? Of course I can. It's very similar to
this. It's a metadata tree. Well, I can do this. I can do this manually. So let's do that. So what it's saying is that to do this outside our manifest, we need another piece of metadata in here.
And never metadata I didn't like.
Actually set to true. This is on the wrong place. Let's shoot that here on the application level.
A Boolean parameter that you set true by using a quoted string. That's always fun.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotta love Android and XML.
Yep.
No.
True isn't compatible. What?
Value. Right, no.
I told you. See, it wasn't a string.
No, it is a string. It's value, not resource. Resource.
Yeah,
means an Android resource that you're referencing.
It's not a natural resource. It's a value.
It's an unnatural resource. Oh, look!
Oh, look at that!
What? Oh,
it's running.
Oh, I see a
green blob rotating.
I see it off screen.
More faster.
So this is one of the things that I looked at this. I was like, hang on a minute, what is this? This doesn't look right to me.
Why is it like?
Hang on. Well, we're going to say it's centered. That's the first thing we're going to do here.
It's left leaning, maybe.
So let's do that first.
It's the new green triangle deal.
There we go.
Okay, so that adjusts.
Oh, wow, there we go.
That adjusts the speed. That adjusts. Oh no, these are the 2 angles of rotation. Sorry.
Oh, the spinners. It's the spinner controls. Whoa.
Okay.
That's pretty fast.
That's a good start. Shall we see if we can get it to be we can do something else with this. Yeah, color. Let's go through what we've just spoken about, so I'm not going to repeat. This is really interesting. Does this format? Let me just see, that doesn't format. Look, that's fine.
Wow.
How what is different?
Oh, because you don't have it's that's
the parameters. It's an array. List.
Yeah, that's
from list.
Yeah.
That's it. There we go. All right.
Maybe.
All right. Let's try it. Now we do this.
50-50 chance that it'll do it wrong.
Right, format. Yeah,
Hey,
Yay!
I did a thing.
Yay.
Did a thing.
You did. You made it work.
All right.
it's more readable.
Wow.
So this is all. This is the way this has been done right now. It's just very low level. So let's. And we. This is a 300 by 300 pixel texture that's rendering as an image. So really, we want to center that, right? So probably want to do something like. There we go. Cool. Okay, what's next? This is just like so many like rotations. I'm not sure, like it doesn't seem right to me, but yeah, like whatever. I don't know what -1 to 1.
It sort of looks like it's not exactly flat. I wonder if it's because by the time it gets to the
No,
bottom of the screen.
No. What's happening right now is it's clipping on the edges.
Yeah.
Oh,
There should be a scale factor in here. Ideally, we could try adding a scale. We're trying a scale. Maximum 1. Why not? This is effectively acts like a zoom. This is also not a nice way of doing this either. So we don't have to do that. You don't have to read them, right? Like the painter these actually support listables for repainting. So in fact, should I show you how you ideally should do this? Let's do that. So this should be a value notifier. Right, that's the value. And then our time is probably another input. Yeah, time. All right, so now we've got our 4 notifiers. This is keeping a constant time, so it's using the ticker, look at the previous time and the elapsed milliseconds to know where the next time period is. Anyway, go read up about this. In fact, this is written up in Bob Nystrom's book on game patterns. I think game. If you're interested. Sorry. Anyway. All right, so so this just be that. See why scale. All right, and then down here, we can pass all those in. Needs a final. So this time CX CY scale. All right. Now here's the next one. So this is a super. That's what I want to do. Thank you, AI. So what we now do is create one listenable for the repaint. So basically, whenever any one of these notifiers changed, the merge listable notifies this changed. That notifies that the painter that should repaint, and it'll run the paint function with no actual UI widgets being built. Right, that's the ideal way, because this is a paint only phase. Okay, cool. And then, so now we've got those values. Obviously, we need to, when we want to access those values, we need to get the actual internal value from the file. So we just do this. And then we'll multiply this by matrix for diagonal. Any diagonal values. Okay. Scaled up value. Oops. Oh, what do you think? All right. Cool. All right, restart. I made a mistake. I made a mistake. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do we need the names?
And they need to be values.
There we are. These are all value notifiers up there now.
Oh, yeah.
Right, restart, and there we go. So now it still works. And I managed to go back. Let's fix that. So we're going to take these sliders, right, column, this column, with padding.
Your usual stretch that you wish was the default.
Immediate query.
You're not using dot shorthands yet. Maybe you're not yet enabled for that.
I don't know, I'm sure what version will be run that way. Okay, so now these won't interfere with the system gestures when I drag them. There's the scale.
Shouldn't that merged listenable be disposed?
Strictly speaking, yes. Also, strictly speaking, no. So, what I know what you're saying. So the reason. So let me explain what's going on. Let me explain the reasons why you might want to dispose it and what the problems are. Right. So, at the moment, the listables, this merging listable. We basically see here when you add a listener, it then lists to all the children, and when you remove it, it removes. So, what in effect, what this is meaning is that there is no disposal required. So, when the underlying repaint actually adds itself as the listener, it then lists to the children. When it removes, it removes. Does that kind of make sense? So, there's never anything listening at the end once it's finished. So once that actual widget, the custom painter gets removed, It doesn't. It removes its listeners, and there's no more removing. There's nothing listening underneath. The dispose is kind of like just a kind of ripping a band-aid off, right? It's like get rid of these things, but listenable itself doesn't actually. You can see it's just add and remove. Yeah. So like a notifier, you need to dispose of, right? We don't need to. That's another thing. The whole idea of dispose on a notifier is mainly just to make it not work anymore on purpose, right? So if you go look and actually look at the implementation of it, where is it? It's all automatic. It looks more complicated than it needs to be. The whole reason all this stuff exists is just literally optimization to make it high performing as possible, using benchmarks and thinking, oh, if I do this here and do that there, it will make this high performance. In fact, I think it was where was it? I think it was Remy and someone else were working on this a long time ago. Yeah, so the dispose method here says no more listeners, sets count to 0. That's it. Like it's not there anymore, right? Like it doesn't actually do anything, if that makes sense. If you had something that was extending it, that gives you a chance to free resources, right? Because normally in a lot of listener stuff, you kind of you allocate something for the duration that you're listening, and then you kind of remove something afterwards. Anyway, but particularly with listenable, no, you don't. The remove takes place. So, anyway, right. What was I feel like is it me or is that too down the script? Am I missing something? Oh, that's interesting. It's just a bit of a optical illusion. Right, what was that? Yeah, so what else do we want to do this? Let's get do so nice, shall we? There is also, so now that's enabled and we know it's working, let's say Flutter scene, you could try running an actual three-dimensional object, right? So Flutter scene is a package that kind of wraps a bunch of this stuff up for loading object files with their textures and then allowing you to place those on the screen, as it were. So should, in theory, so let's extract this stuff out as triangle. Oh, sorry. Triangle page. Take that up in there. This is going to get a top level material. All right, so that's still the same. Oh, because Flutter seems to be then. I need to restart. All right. Do that one. 1 second. Put that in our assets. That's not the right one. Right. What else do we get from that? So, import your thing. Can't do that. Oh, scene import. As regular dependency. Okay. Do we need to do this still? We'll find out. I have a feeling that's not what we want to do, but we're going to see what happens anyway. So let's do. If it doesn't work, I'm just going to go grab the one that's obviously an example of someone. This is basically processing the GTLB file into a model file that Flutter Scene can understand. Yeah, that is not experimental. See what happens. I've just done it as like the source model that doesn't exist. It's going to be damaged out. Yeah, that's a great idea, Simon. Yes, you can't find the file. Funny that. Yeah. Okay. It's looking for a function. See, so this is some, yeah, okay. So it's trying to build some C stuff in Visual Studio here on my machine, and I'm not going to go debug this now, but it's probably looking for a library that doesn't exist on here, or it wasn't built for Windows support, which is probably the case. Yeah. So what we'll do is we're going to go to the examples repo, and I'm sure in here somewhere, maybe find a model. I actually did this before, a long time ago. So I ran Flutter Scene pre-release to get some feedback, and I made the Wipeout clone running Flutter Scene.
What's the texture cube?
I mean, we could just try that if you like.
I don't know what you were looking for, but I just happened to see that there.
So similar to the last one you saw, you've got building up the texture, depth stencil, using a texture, vertex, and fragment shader, and then we're adding YUVs. This we detail here. So we got, so this vertex data here. So let me explain. So all the data that your GPU needs to use to draw graphics needs to be sent over to the GPU. And the GPU runs it in its memory. Anyway, and so this means that everything, positions of things, what bits of the textures you want to display, what the colors are, all that needs to be sent over. And that's exactly what we see here. Now, all that is just numbers, and it's the way that you proceed to use those numbers data in your shaders that matters. So, for example, I'm going to show you this in this example. So all this stuff here is about copying like a buffer of bytes that represents these doubles int or whatever, and that's what gets sent to the uniform that goes over to the shader. So here are the vertices of a cube. That's 2 units wide, -1 to +1. Yeah. So there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that correct? Yeah, 6 sides, 8 vectors. Yeah, 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom. Yeah. Then each of those point vectors, each of the vertices that make up whatever. Each of the bit data points X, Y, Z makes up a point of space. Also has a point in which the texture comes from for that position of space. So that's 0, 0, 1, 0. And this is basically saying the top left of your texture and then the far right of your texture or the bottom of your texture, right? Because it's between 0 and 1. So this is giving you a cube graphic, and then it will be flipped and depending on which these points are based on how it gets displayed. And then this is red, green, blue, alpha. So this would be the RGBA value of that corner of that vertex. So this is all the data you need to maybe display this graphic in this case, right? This here, indices, is the order in which to draw the indices. So 0, 1, 3, 0, 1, 3 is this one. Those 3 points make up one triangle. 3, 1, and 2, the third one, the first one, and the second one make up a second triangle. That's 2 triangles may make up one face of the square. And each one of these is each face. There'll be 6 faces to make up the cube. Followed by a standard sort of transformation matrix here. This is an identity, but it's slightly smaller than standard identity of 1, 1. So it's pretty pre-scaled. Then we've got same thing here, time, rotation, scale that's been added. And you bind those 2 buffers and puts them ready to be transferred. Creates a texture, and that's interesting. So he's actually sending the texture over as bits. So this is the black and white. So when it's a 1 in FF would be white. 0 black. And I don't think these are RGB values. These are just bit patterns, but I could be wrong. But this would make up a checkered pattern. If you look at it, white, black, white, black, white, so on. And gets the texture uniform, dumps it in there, tells it to draw. Now what's going to happen is the GPU textures, sorry, the shaders. Now again, this texture could be a graphics, right? So let me be clear. What we're sampling here as a texture is raw bits, but you can just load it from a PNG file, right? Like, just load any bitmap you want. Here, the texture, fragment, and vertex shader. So our vertex shader takes those coordinates that we were just talking about, right? So there's our position. That's the 3 at the beginning. These 3 here. Texture coordinate vector 2, that's these 2 here, and the vector of color. That's our inputs. And then it's going to generate a texture coordinate on the output, which is 1 to 1. The idea is that you can use these to transform this data in some pattern parallel, right? But these you can see are these simple shaders which just input to output. They did this in this case did nothing to the texture or color of at that vertex location. A good example of where this is important, these 2 things, is you can make textures that let's say that you got water that moves on the surface of something, right? That could just be the texture panning and moving across the surface. So in which case you change this output texture coordinates so that based on input, say time, right, it will slowly move based at a fixed rate, right? So each time this is run, it's going to be a different position. And you haven't had to actually calculate anything. You just, here's the time value, and it just does it. Anyway, right, back to the vertex shader. The vertex shader, and this is where it gets important. So this is what you probably haven't seen before. A sampler 2D. This is essentially what represents a texture, right? It allows you to sample a texture, sample a 2D. And so now the vertex shader here uses this texture function to sample that texture in the sampler at these coordinates, and that'll give you back the pixel at those coordinates. Now, these coordinates here are the ones that are giving us input actually here to this fragment shader. Now, that will change automatically based on the pixel that is trying to render, based on the 2 vertex coordinates you gave, texture coordinates you gave out. Sorry, 3 for the triangle that you gave out on the vertex shader. Like that. So basically what happens is the pipeline goes, take all the vertices as my input, pass all that to the vertex shader. That gives me the color and texture coordinates and position of where these things are. Now take that information and do a and essentially call for each fragment. We don't say pixel because they may not be exactly a pixel. Each fragment, go and process that each core with these as its input, so that will give you a coordinate between those two points as your input. So that's where you're getting the varied color and texture coordinates from input. Anyway, so should we try and run it? Just copy and paste and run it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to figure out. We'll get an actual object running on the screen in a second. Let's run this. Textured cube. Textured cube. Textured cube. Right. So, apart from these not retaining them anymore, there's no issues. So, should be able to take this page, texture cube page. Let's wrap that in the material. And there. See what happens. Da, da, da. Let's try our try-catch mechanism of debugging this thing. I would expect to see something in the logs. Okay. I guess it's being caught and probably throwing a Flutter error somewhere. Mm-hmm. We don't have the builder in there, so it's not going to pick it up. To a Flutter error, which is null check. Yay. What line is that null check on? We're about to find out. Stop. Okay. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I did bring in the 2 vertex shaders that we actually need, so let's bring those in. It was back to our shaders. So it was texture, vertex, and texture fragment. Texture, vertex, and fragment. Yeah. Add them to our bundle. We have our fragment shader. Vertex shader. All right.
call it after this. Oh, come on. Oh, you know work. Oh, because he wants to build Flutter scene stuff. All right, that's new Flutter scene. I might take the Resident Evil or the Wipeout stuff I did before and get to use this now. That'd be cool.
Hey.
Well, there you go. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't go back. Go fix that.
Gradient boxes. Looks like some of them are black and some of them are transparent.
No, no, they're all transparent.
Well,
black
that one
is-
side, it just came over. That, not that side. Okay,
What's he saying?
Top,
There's
yeah.
a checker. The
Oh,
top is solid.
One
Yeah,
side, one side is solid, one side is transparent.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
side here. Yeah.
We.
Ah.
It's going too fast. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Mhm.
Oh, it's out front.
Shut down all the
It's out back.
cockroaches
It's out
in
back.
the
They've been playing.
detention level.
You should be able to like if we. I know we've got the seed thing going on here because we've got the timer, right? But where is it? Actually, there he goes. Take time out of the equation here. There we go. Oh. Oh, because it's rotating on this one most of the time. Okay, let's get rid of that. 1 second. Right. So now, there you go. Now control it from this side to that side. That side to that side. We could do a, if I put time back in, say C, X, Y, Z. Bring a Z in there. Is that right now? I know there's a big difference. Do it that way. That's an interesting way of doing that alignment. I like that. You know what? I've never thought about it, but it works. Let's see. X, Y, Z. Yeah, this is like. So it should have, yeah, X, That's interesting because that's not full range. Oh, it's just. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. So we're doing. Oh, it's just in radians. It's just yeah. I can't remember if mapped up. That's what I want. It's radians, isn't it? It's been a while. It's not too bad. Yeah. In max. Scale. Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's try that now. Way around. Yeah. Start to finish. Way around. So we can actually default these are now at 0. That'll keep it center axis. Well, it's kind of boring, isn't it? I guess so.
So Google says Simon speaks estuary English, a dominant dialect of London and the surrounding home counties along the Thames.
Okay, yeah.
It said, I asked if it could detect your accent. And it said, yeah, give me a try. So I bet it did.
Anyway, so we've got one rotation, that rotation. Got the scale 0.1 to 3, and then this changed the back clipping plane. Now rotate. You see the back scale. Let's rotate it around. So it's interesting the way one side's transparent, one side isn't. Right?
Yeah.
No. Is it? Or is it just...
No, it is because if you keep going that one, you don't see anything.
Yeah, you can't see through that one at the top, so that's definitely black.
Yeah.
But you can't see through this one either at black. I think
No,
I know what it is. No, I know what it is. You've just been fooled by a very common thing that happens in 3D. Okay, the face is on this side facing outwards. So it's the light bounces off this surface. On the inside, it's transparent because there's no face on this.
Yeah.
You're seeing basically from two sides of the object.
Yeah.
So that always the back facing one is transparent. Right? So see this one at the front. Like obviously they depend on how you're rendering it. I'm not going to go into. Yeah. So because that's solid at the top there that you can't see through the top, this side here, the top, this side, the right hand side. And then there you go, you still can't see through the bottom there. But you can when it's inside out, that you can see through them, right? So anyway, get me on that side. So we could do actually saying that. I don't know if this makes sense. Let's just try something. Yeah, it's not gonna be the same. It's not what you what looks like transparent and what isn't. It's all about this face that the object's on. What's happening right now? It's the inside face of this that you're not seeing. So when it rotates, where it looks like it's getting clipped off, yeah, it's just yeah, interesting. Right. So if people are interested in this, then I will. Oh, there's a question. What if I to add? Because all of this is supposed to be possible inside the shader itself, right? Not sure I'm following what your question is. Maybe there's a confusion in understanding it. So it doesn't matter. Every language has to do this. You have to be able to communicate with the GPU to set it all up, give all the bits to do the red, right? So now we have an interface to do that, right? Yeah. Yeah, and that's what we're doing here. Yeah. So again, it's about this is a like if I took all this and put it behind a function, when I make it, I'm just going to see that function and say, here's the shaders to use and draw this, right? These examples of a low level interfacing with the GPU. So you can do whatever the hell you want. Right? Now you can get shaders to whatever. If I go grab like what's the website? Shader Magic? No, Shader.
You could ask AI.
Shadertoy.com. So here's an example of this.
Build and shade your best shades.
Right. So
wow.
What you're seeing there looks very impressive, and it is. But what you're forgetting is that it's running all this in there. I'm about to show you. Here's the map. Here is effectively the shade language, which is just pure mathematical. It's what would be the best way of explaining it? Functional programming would be like the I guess the simile to what it is. So there's one entry point main, and it's expected to get one thing out, the color of the pixel, right? So if I can find the entry point, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, obviously, the more complicated it is, the more crap is in here. I'm going to not find it. I want it. So there's no model here. There's no vectors. There's no data. This is purely, I'm going to run all this math on each pixel. And it's one of those mind-bending things. There's actually a great YouTube video on this. I'll find it for you in a second. There's a guy from Disney who does shaders and graphics for Disney, and he shows how you can do all sorts of great stuff in just shaders alone, right? Well, here's render one function. Should be a render two function. Yeah, main image. It's right at the very bottom. Right, anyway, so here, look, you can see exactly what we've got in our shaders. The input is the fragment coordinate, and the output is the color. And from that alone, from that bit of data alone, the coordinate, it works out what each pixel should be. There's actually this resolution, and I think there's a time constant that this website gives you in your shader. But basically, as you can see here, taking the fragment coordinate by the resolution gives you a 0 to 1, like fraction across the screen, and then basically runs effect based on the inverse fraction and the normal fraction to give you depth. And there you go, gets the color out of that function, so affect the one above. And again, normalize the coordinates, works out the various points. But again, all of this is effectively one number in, one number out.
Wow.
And it does that, and it runs this whole thing here, all these calculations on each core of your GPU to render each pixel. So it looks nice, but it's not very efficient at all in that sense. Like it depends on what you're building. Like it's nice for drawing pictures, right? Or it's nice for rendering a surface of something, right? What you can't do, you can't build an entire. It's really complicated. I'm not going to. Can technically build like an entire game of this. It would just be stupid to do so, right? Anyways, I mean, we could try to get one of these. I mean, lots of people have already done this. If you go on to like Twitter and stuff, people have already got shaders from Shader 20 and other people work inside Flutter.
Yep.
Right? You essentially copy and paste, tweak a few of those inputs, and the way it works, and away you go. So, sorry. Right. The difference here is like you might like with a game, you kind of want to draw those shaders based on the based on objects and animations that you've predefined, right? So you don't have to like calculate, like to edit that mathematical thing for to work so that every pixel of every angle of the entire game works would be nuts, right? Like any program code, you have your main entry point and it has a flow of operations, an order of operations to render something on the screen. It's exactly the same thing, right? Like it's just, and you can change the way you do that and how you organize it. And that's your classes and how your functions operate. That helps you read the code and modify the code. Like classes don't exist for anything but us, right? The computer literally cares nothing about classes, nothing about like anything to do with like what variable names are or anything like that. It just knows 1 + 1 is 2, right? It's a big calculator, right? So at the end of the day, all of this stuff that we do when we write code is for our benefit, not the computers at all. In fact, a lot of the time we do stuff that makes it slower because the way we need the code to be for us, right? So back to the point here, which is that we can reorganize our code in any way, and it's easy for us to do that and refactor because we're working with these objects at larger levels. That's why we have games written in this kind of way, where you've got like a game engine. It builds things up from entities, and like you can do collisions, and all that stuff is pre-made, so that you don't have to, do all that stuff all the time, right? Does that make any sense? Yeah. So hopefully that was helpful. I'm gonna push this repo as is. I'm just gonna add a quick page view to view both pages. Cool. Okay, that's probably about it there. Actually, oh, and what was it? You have to figure out what you need to add to iOS to make it work on iOS. Okay, there are the logs. Or it works on Windows now. Let's see. So this is now got a page view, so you can try each one. Let's see if it can pass at all. I don't think it won't, but we'll find out. And then maybe I'll see what I can do about scene. Yep. Stop. Stop. Oh, hey, it must be enabled. See, if I knew how to enable it, it tells me here how to enable it on iOS and Android. That's the key that's missing for iOS. So I'm just going to go set that on the iOS project. But yeah, we need to know what that is for the others. Right, I'm going to push that to a repo, and then I will tweet it in just a minute. So keep subscribe to me on Twitter at Dev Angels London, and then you will get a notification in just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I think that's the end of the show. We've been going on way too long. My voice is actually feeling really rough. So.
Yep. All right.
I wasn't even going to talk for this. I thought I'll come on for half an hour to talk.
You were only going to be here for a few minutes, and here you are.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Regret.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, take care of your voice, and then maybe we're back next week.
We'll definitely be back next week. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
See you.